Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on my program here. I'm Armando F. Sanchez. I'm CEO, Armando F. Sanchez Productions. A while back, I did an interview of a series of poets who participated in the question about COVID having visited us. I want to thank Thelma T. Reyna from Foothills Press, who put together the Golden Foothills Press, put together a series of poets. And I had the honor of doing one of the persons, and we have him as a guest today, David Dephy. David comes to us from New York City at this moment. He's a poet, but in reality, if you look at his background, it's very expensive. 15 books in poetry, 9 novels, 3 audio albums. Recently wrote a book, which we're going to talk about today, and we're going to ask him to read some of it from his book today, Eastern Star. He's the artist who did the front page on top of that. Just such a background. Now, before we get started, let's talk about Georgia. We're not talking about the state of Georgia. We're talking about the country of Georgia. And the country is positioned right next to Turkey, Russia, Armenia, borders by the Black Sea. And the history of this area, of this territory, is thousands of years old. Thousands. So we look here in the United States and we say, oh my gosh, all this history you have to learn, but we're looking back into just thousands of years of history, the mixture of many cultures, and the start of civilization in many forms as we know it today. I can't say enough about you, David, but thank you for being on the program today, and we're going to get into more details of that. Let's begin, David. I'd like to look into your background. Um, what motivated you to be a writer, to work in film, to work in art? What motivated you? When did you start all this wonderful career?
Thank you, Armando. Thank you for having me. It's great honor, first of all, to say here, great honor to be here and to listen how you're gently and very professionally speaking and talking about this story. States, Georgia, Black Sea, freedom, poetry. I'm deeply honored. Thank you. Oh, yes. I think the life itself is an author. Life is a Michelangelo, and you are David.
Oh, wow. Now I'm really honored.
I think so, yeah, because mm, I earned my undergraduate degree, MFA, back in 1992 from the Faculty of Architecture at the State Academy of Fine Arts in Georgia. And then I started working as a journalist, as an architecture, just a couple of periods of time as a journalist. And I was making my private TV shows for the television and for the radio. We had some studio, and it was very popular in that period of time because we were telling the truth, what's going on in politics, in culture, in religion, in every field all around us. And then I realized that I have a story to tell via poetry, via prose, with electronic bands, we're painting, we're architecture, we're journalism directly to the people via camera. And it was quite an enormous journey in my life. And I left everything, all my job, just closed the door, threw away the key, and just started writing words on paper. And I realized that much is demanded from me, but not much is forgiven to me. That's the writer. I said, oh, it's a huge responsibility, but I like it because I have responsibility, because I have a story. It means you have to tell the story to the people and share it with others with the comfort, with the strength, with the hope, story of comfort. That's the main thing. And I simultaneously published a novel, first novel, poetry, and short story collections during the 2 years, because I was writing as crazy. And it was successful. And I started writing as a professional and learning language, Georgian language, and then English language too. My mother is a specialist of German language. My father was a physicist. My wife is a specialist of English language, and businessman. So I was living in this aura of art and science, and it was pretty good experience in the very beginning of my career that I have heard a call,
Hmm.
and that call was inside in my heart, deep in my heart, and I started my journey.
Where can individuals find you? Your website, your page? Where can people, our listeners and
Thank you.
viewers?
Thank you, Armando. So this is brand new, my child, Eastern
Hmm.
Star, published by Adelaide Books in New York City on October 28, 2020. We can find this book in this COVID time, and it will be end soon. Yes. First of all, in internet, this is the only one good way to buy book in internet safely. On Amazon, on Adelaide Books webpage, on Barnes and Noble's page too, in New York City, and then of course it will be in every magazine in States. I hope so, and I know it will be like that.
Well, you're already an international writer, and you're already in journals around the world, even in Mexico, even in Europe. So I'm sure it will continue. And I love your artwork. On top of that, not only are you a writer, but you're also a wonderful artist. So
Thank you. I
awesome.
made this cover art in Brooklyn. This is a wife of one of my best friend. I call her my sister. Her name is Thea, and her husband also is a David. And I was living with them in another room when I was totally out of my schedule in the beginning of my immigration, and I paint her. And then now look at that.
I love it. I love it. There's a, people, we look at so many things, but we never know what the history is. And this is an opportunity to highlight that as well.
It was morning in Eastern Star. It's a first ray of hope.
I'm going to ask you, and we're going to do this as part of today's show. I'd love to have you read a couple of your poems
Thank
for
you.
us, and I'm going to ask you if you could please read one's very special one for me. It sort of kicks off 2021 for me. It's about the future, but we'll get to that in this part of this show. What is there and this is forgive my ignorance about poetry and poets and writers, but is there a common theme in your poems, or are they all sort of at moments of inspiration, at different moments, all sort of put together?
It's a pretty deep question, Armando. Thank you. I build the text by breath and habit, and I call this process architecture of sounds and visions. It's very hard to explain, but I can feel the word. English word, Georgian word. I can feel them as a sound. And first, I just try to be calm. Just try to realize in what's going on right here, right now, in me. And then something is happening. I call this happening silence. It's simple word, but and the impact of this word, it's very deep, silence. And deep in this silence, in this very precious heart of silence, is poetry for me. And when first time I have heard a call and I started my journey, I followed the trace of silence. It's very hard to explain, but that's the poetry. Poetry not always quiet, logical understanding of things. We don't know what is this at all. We don't know even how to end a poem. in the right time. And no one knows, because the only thing that we know, from my perspective, is that we can end the poem with the pause, not the final period, dot. No, it's just a pause between breathe in, breathe out. That's your speech. That's the language. Breathe is a language of silence, and your heartbeat is a language of silence. And then continue your breathing, your breath, your breathe with another poem. And that's precious moment called bridge between two poems for me is a art of everything and reason of everything. And result of everything is a story, is a verse, is a novel, is a poem. But poetry itself is a reason of our existence here, existence of language. And also, in all honesty, poetry is a message of hope, message of, for example, Georgian language. Georgian language is the oldest language in the world. It was created in approximately 8,000 years ago. There are only 14 original alphabets in the world. In Georgian language, with Sanskrit and with Old Babylonian, all these languages are in Georgian language amongst them. On the very top of the list, Georgian language has been on very top on the list. It means every word has some special meanings in Georgian language. And same thing happens when you passionately in love with language, with English language too, because English language, it's also a family of Indo-European languages, son of the Georgian language or daughter of the German language, sorry, or maybe son or maybe daughter of German language. It continues to be alive. And only those writers have a future who are readable in the future by new generation and with languages too. I love Spanish language. I love it. It's a music itself. I love Japanese language. It's like mystery for me with masks. It's artistic understanding of language, and that's the thing. So it's nothing wrong with this understanding for me. It's pretty cool sometimes.
Now, again, I'm trying to encapsulate something that is far beyond words, but I'm still trying to capture the moment, the inspiration in this world of silence. As I'm envisioning, you're focusing on quieting the mind further and further and further and further, very deeply, where it comes to a moment of a deep silence. Does the inspiration surface from that, or do you hear the poetry coming from the silence?
I think so. This linguistic stream full of symbols, you have no time to realize all the symbols during the writing or during the thinking. Lives inside you, not very far from its expression forms. There are just very tiny gaps between those feelings inside you and all around you. And in my case, first I can feel some vision lusters, some sounds, some flitting glimpses all around me. And I know those things are my messengers, and I have to just focus on and feel that time is near, and started writing, started thinking. Let me share with you
Please.
One poem. It's called, the title of the book, title poem, Eastern Star. And maybe this will be a right answer of your question, Armando.
Thank you.
Eastern Star. If there is no freedom within you, you won't inspire anyone. If a star is born only in the sky and not in you, you won't see the light. If heaven is not in you, you will never get there. If there is hell in you, you will never escape from there. If you are not forgiving, you will never breathe freely. If you don't give, you will never fly. If you lose hope, you will never wake up. If you don't steer your passion, you will never quench your yearning. You told me one day, I'm your song. Your breath is the song. And the song is like me. Children are playing, soon calmness will come. I feel your breath in front of the gate. You are the winer's gate. And this gate is the heart. The heart is the choice. The choice is the way. You are what I think, and always you are. You are what I saw, and always you were. So far, so far, so near and so far. So let me think and let me sing. In your transparent breath, be like the wine in your divine veins. I'm wishing to let you hear the song as I am, and let me so please you. You know, I need these two. So far, so far. All the world's variations come down to one truth, and all the ideas come down to one breath, and all the world's secrets in your heart are revealed till the star of the east is the sign of the future, so near and not far. Almighty and calm eastern star is trembling all over me and also all over you. We hear and we see the spirit of silence within our breath. Oh yes, one which we take, and yes, one which we leave.
Gorgeous. Wow. Let
Thank
me
you.
take that in for a second. It's like, uh, I'm drawn into what your words are, and I'm trying to refocus again. Do when you write, do you hear the words in English, in Georgian, in
I started
Spanish, in
writing.
Japanese? Well, when you're listening, as you're the scribe writing the words quickly in your moment, what language are you in? Because I know you're trilingual, and I'm
uh,
sure you were
it
developing others.
yeah,
How do you where do you think?
it may sound strange, but when Georgian language and English language meet each other in your heart, you're a free man. You can do whatever you like to do with the word. And when you're standing against of yourself, across of yourself, all around is silence, and it's that's precious moments to be ready for do something special for yourself first, and maybe for others, God willing. I'll be very glad if I someday realize that I have millions of readers. If it's a fantastic feeling for every writer in the world. And
Well,
that,
well,
so,
you have one. You have one. You have
oh,
one.
thank you.
Hey, you have one. You see, I'm forever in your service of reading all your works.
Thank you. Thank you, Armando. So in that very moment, we are so when you're standing across of yourself or from and into the yourself, you try to reach out your shining eastern star. You can say that you are a real free man because you have no fear at all. It's already beyond you. You're moving forward, trusting the flow. flow of creation. Unexpectedness is the way. And trusting the flow, thought by thought, word by word, line by line, breath by breath, you're creating something. You don't know what is this in the beginning, but then you realize that you just a tool for poet, because poem, even novel, even story, even everything, even song, even everything what we can do, knows what to do with you.
I'm understanding. I love the way you put it. I'm starting to sort of encapsulate. I never will at the full extent you do, but you're really an excellent teacher.
Thank you. Because I think so. The poetry is the answer of to all the world's mysteries, all of these questions. And I started writing in English after my arriving, approximately in 8 months. Yeah, in 8 months, I found some job in the beginning. Then all my documents, thanks to AFI, Artistic Freedom Initiative. This is the huge and just amazing office in Manhattan, in New York City. Now they are in Dumbo, and they did an enormous job for me to organize all my American documents and my status here. So I found then a couple of jobs as a cat giver, as a cab driver, as a worker, like constructions worker at the construction or on the construction, and moving forward step by step. And this is the American real life, to realize life and then write this life. And that's why I think so. My poetry has been accepted because they are real verses and they are real words. It's not some bullshit sitting in some very fancy
No, I don't
palace
think so.
and writing some about butterflies and stars, how beautiful they are. Yes, I know they are beautiful, but Russia was bombing Georgia, and that's the deal. And please be so kind, read my poems too, with the butterflies poems together. That's the deal. So I think that a human being gets strength, Armando, strength from the truth, and transfers that strength to others and fills them with comfort and allows them to carry on and hold on during everyday struggles. So I think so. This is truth, and I believe in. I believe in this truth. This truth for me is a poetry, and it's pretty real. It's a tangible. I'm an idealist guy, if I can describe myself, idealist poet who still have or has or I have, or in the future we will all have will to make world right someday, because enough is really enough.
David, as unfortunately we're starting to run out of time, where again can our viewers and our listeners find your book and follow you as you're, publishing more material?
Okay. The Eastern Star has been released on October 28, 2020 by Adelaide Books, New York City. We can find this book in internet everywhere, in Barnes& Noble, on Amazon, on Adelaide Books webpage, adelaidebooks.com. And when pandemic will be ended very soon, in every bookstore across the globe.
Yay! I miss libraries and I miss bookstores. Oh my gosh.
uh, Never mind. Never mind. Everything will be great. Everything will be. I know, Armando, I can feel, I know something very kind, very, very precious, beautiful is coming in the world. Is coming in the world, yes. Something absolutely super is coming in the world.
We have a new understanding of ourselves and the world, I hopefully from the COVID.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure, Armando, that the world will be more spiritual than it was before pandemic, because we learned the lesson. We finally realized that we're not alone on this planet. And there is no question of politics, even question of Kremlin. No, this question of us, just us. And I think the poetry is the greatest hope from the future, not from here to eternity, but from eternity to our hearts. And our shining hearts are waiting for a long time this something very kind, and it will be done soon in the world. I'm absolutely sure.
If you can read for us, don't wait, because
Oh,
I
thank
think
you.
it's one of your poems that I think inspired me even to a higher level. And I think as I've been listening to you this entire wonderful time, privileged time for me,
Thank
it
you.
sort of highlights the future, which you talk about so much. Would you do me the
Thank you.
honors?
Yeah, don't wait. Thank you, Armando. Thanks a lot. Don't wait. The present, which was the future yesterday, will be the past tomorrow. Don't wait for a night to fall. Don't wait for tomorrow's dawn. Don't even wait for love to come. Don't wait for any miracle to occur. Don't wait for loneliness to fade away. Don't wait for your fate's open arms. You are happiness. Yes, you are. Happiness bears your name. It will find you as a dream does, making no distinctions between the dust and the stars. Don't wait for anything to finish. Don't wait for anything to start. You are the way. Yes, you are. And whatever is needless and whatever is needless will drag behind. You will forget them without bearing a grudge. Don't wait for your mind to clear up. Don't wait for the war to stop. Don't wait for any change to come. Fall, rise, and fall again in love. You are endlessness. Yes, you are. Fill your heart with joy as drops fill oceans, as if there were nothing and no one to harm or it will kill you. You are the clue. Yes, you are. The whole world just is and looks like what you choose. The choice is a secret, and everything you have ever given away will come back through the universe to you again. Don't wait.
What I have learned for many, many years, many decades, you were able to put it into one poem. Amazing to me.
Thank you, Amanda.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Deeply honored. Thank you.
David Dephy in New York City, and I wish you continual inspiration and silence so that more words can come to you as well. And again, please, I welcome you back on the show. We do more discussion, whatever I can do to help as well. But thank you for your touch of humanity to all of us and for your sense of hope. Not only in this moment, but as life as a whole, we're always needing that. And you're one of those persons that shines a light on all of us and shows us the way. David, thank you very much.
Thank you, Armando. Thank you. And may I, as a my thank, say very small piece of the part of the Eastern Star, and I think it will be right goodbye for this time, for the show. May I?
Absolutely.
Thank you. When I go out, when I go out of the New York subway, especially through Avenue H by the Q train in Brooklyn, I hear ocean, always. I hear ocean, the sounds of thoughts, the sounds of wishes and expectations, the sounds of noise and calmness. I hear solitude. I hear darkness early in the morning when I'm alone, surrounded only by the sounds as echoes of my own breath. And I'm walking faster and faster and singing. I love a melody as I love the morning. The morning is a spirit of life for me, and the melody is a spirit of music itself. It is my own breath while I am alive and can feel the sounds of ocean. There's something familiar is dawning deep within me every morning that it disappears again as I remember my childhood. The little beetle on my palm and as a kite and the valley. The premonition of joy is forcing me forward, listening to the melody of breath and looking up to the sky's wide open silence. The same sky with the same kite from my childhood. I see we are immortals. Thank you for your hospitality, for your professionalism and kindness, Armando. Thanks a lot. I'm deeply honored to be here, to be part of your show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're deeply touched talking to David Dephy, Eastern Star poems, and much more than that, and insights into our souls of hope and of the future. David, I look forward to having you on future shows as well.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
sir. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.